what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent. And today we're going to be playing more of the Entrenched seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which every unit and artifact that we play gains resilience. Last time we did a bit of a hybrid between boosting and damaging, but this time our deck is all out damage. Let's give it a look. Like I said, the point of this deck is maximizing the amount of damage that we do, and in some cases, boosting our units in the process. So today we're going to be playing a Patricidal Fury Skellige deck, which means that we can spawn in an 11 power Arnaghad the Patricide, which will gain resilience, so that's a big card. And then we will also spawn in some Sirens and reduce them down to just 1 power on the opposing side, which is helpful for setting up several of our other cards. Now I'll flip through the deck to show you what we have, and of course Blood Eagle is one of our best tutor cards, as well as dealing some damage. Sihil is one of our best cards because it is a fantastic source of damage, and with resilience, has plenty of time for that to start to build up. Then we have Gerd, which, when combined with the card that we'll talk about later, is a fantastic combo in this event. Then Dagur is our unit that we will certainly be boosting the most, because this is the one that gets boosted every time we deal that damage. Then Dire Bear is quite interesting, because generally our opponent's decks are going to be focused on boosting and less so on damage. So if neither of us is boosting, then that damage is the difference. Not to mention, even without that damage, our units have a lot of base power, so that could be good enough. And if we hit this Dire Bear once, then we can also continue to boost on our side, which is something that we can do pretty reliably. Then we have a Defender. Sukrus is the card that goes really well with Arnaghad. Then Raiding Fleet is one of our other tutor cards, in this case specifically for one set of ships. I bet you can guess what they are. Then Gerd for more damage. Tempest for a combination of damage and purification, which in this seasonal event is fantastic. Then the Craite Greatsword, technically this is healing, not boosting. That means that this can go in the same row as Dire Bear and still increase its value. Then Mahakam Ale is an interesting card because it gives us the lock removal without having to purify a card. Then Moondust, combination of damage and purifying, in this case, an opposing unit. Then the Longships are the ones that we are going to bring in with Raiding Fleet. Also, of course, a great source of damage. Then Bearwitcher Mentor is a great point slam at the end of a round. Bear in mind, even if it has resilience going into the next round, it will lose its boost. So it's probably a little bit better for round 2 or round 3. Then we start getting toward the end of the deck where we're looking at cards that we like not to have in our hand, although Gutting Slash, we can trigger that Bloodthirst too very easily. Then Brokvar Hunter, despite being a 4 provision cost unit, is actually one of the more useful cards in our deck because it gives us more of that consistent damage and can also, if necessary, hit our own units, which is a great way of triggering Dire Bear's Berserk 7. Then the Warcrier is also decent because we're going to have Bloodthirst 1 active almost all the time. But again, because units that carry over to a future round with resilience lose their boost, that means that not as good. Then the Marauder, if we have to play it, just deals more damage. So there's a look at the deck. Overall, the focus is absolutely on maximizing the damage, and in some cases, boosting our units or preventing our opponent from boosting theirs. I think this deck is going to be a lot of fun, so let's go try it out. Okay, so going against monsters here, and we'll go first. And I do like our hand here a lot, but maybe we swap out the Warcrier. And the Bearwitcher Mentor can be a decent point slam late on. Other than that, maybe we get rid of Moondust, and Arnaghad is big. And I think that should do. So let's start off with the Defender here. Protect whatever we want to play next. Oh, and they're going Thrive. With 1 strength units. Oh boy. This is an amazing opportunity for Sihil. So that's absolutely coming out here. Now let's get rid of one of those Neckers. Ideally the one that has resilience. And they're continuing with the low power Thrive. This is fantastic. Alright, now it'll take a turn before Sihil can damage again. Let's put down the Longship in that case, help deal more damage, and set up Sihil even further. Okay, Wyvern also Thrive, a little bit stronger, but of course it will take 1 damage from the Longship. So that may potentially be our next Sihil target. And let's play the Hunter here, just for some more consistent damage to further set up Sihil. And take your pick as to which one of those 2 strength 5 units we ought to get rid of. Guess we'll get rid of the Necker. And we'll hit the Wyvern as well, and that could very well be the next target. Okay, more Thrive. Again, it is a little bit higher power, but with the Longship, it is destroyable with Sihil, well, until they do this. Now it gets up to 5, and that Woodland Spirit is going to be hard to remove. Now, we would like to play Gerd relatively soon to maximize the damage. However, I would also like to get the Arnaghad plus Sukrus combo, so let's make that happen here. So let's take Sukrus. And let's put you next to the Defender there, just to protect him for the time being. Okay, they'll go to the Beast, which is not the strongest unit right now, so that will get boosted. And now that we have Sukrus down there, we play Arnaghad next to him. Although, if we don't play Gerd, then he will no longer have as strong of a deploy ability. But I think we take that. Worst comes to worst, we might even save Gerd. As for our next Sihil target, looks like the best option is that Wyvern. And then let's damage... Well, there actually isn't a great target here. Okay, well, Catachan is another Thrive unit. Arnaghad plus Sukrus will destroy that. And, well, they realize there is absolutely no way they're getting out of that problem. We had just about the perfect counter for their deck. Okay, so go against Skellige here. And we'll go first. And we have a pretty well-rounded hand here. Arnaghad plus Sukrus plus Defender is a fantastic combo. Dagger, Blood Eagle, also great. I think we have probably too many Gutting Slashes. Get Dire Bear out of it. That could work. Maybe even dump the second. Raiding Fleet could work to get us one of our Longships. So I think we go with this. And let's start out with that Defender to be safe. Okay, and they'll apply some armor here. Not sure what that means in terms of what their plans are. Oftentimes you see that card with the Lippy decks, but I would not imagine there'd be Lippy in this seasonal event. So let's get out our Longship. Okay, yeah, they're absolutely loading up on that armor. And that could be a bit of an issue, because of course our priority is damage, and could be hard to deal that damage if they're loading up on that armor. Let's get Dagger out there, though. Now that we have some damage from the Longship, should help. Okay, an Armored Drakkar. Oftentimes you see the Small Blood Priest combined with that. Wonder if that'll be what comes next. And let's start setting up the Arnaghad plus Sukrus combo here. Moonless Curse, what will they get with it? Could be just about anything. And they get some consumption, which is convenient to consume the unit that was going to get destroyed by that bleed eventually. Does also have some armor synergies. They lucked out in that regard. But we have one turn before Arnaghad's Adrenaline ability will kick in, so I think this is a good opportunity to get Blood Eagle going. Now let's use that to get a Greatsword. Okay, now they play their Defender. So if they've got something big, in theory they're trying to protect it behind that. And it's going in the range row. But now we can play Arnaghad plus Sukrus. So whatever card they play next is going to get significantly damaged here. And it's a Drakka Turtle. Okay, now this explains all the armor. And so it will get boosted when we deal all that damage to it. So it actually was a pretty decent counter what we did. But we have an answer. Let's play the Dire Bear here. And it works well that our primary units that get boosted are in the melee row, whereas theirs are in the range row. They'll pass. We could Tempest to remove some of their big cards here. It could hit both the Defender and the Drakka Turtle, which is very tempting. But we're already down a card here. So that is committing pretty hard. Then again, it does seem like that is the card that they built their entire deck around. So to take that away from them could be huge. So I think we still go for it. Not to mention we have that Sukrus plus Arnaghad combo, which will be active more quickly in round 2 since we played more cards. Oh, we get Gerd. That's a big pickup. And let's switch a few around here. And then the Greatsword's not bad either. So let's play Gerd early here, because otherwise that adrenaline is going to kick in and he's going to be weaker. That gives us some damage to charge up Dagur a little bit more. And already the Sukrus plus Arnaghad combo is active here. That is one of the reasons why it was not a terrible idea to play additional cards in round 1. And that means that those cards I play here immediately getting destroyed. Now let's play our other Greatsword. And the Greatswords are okay to play in the range row because that is technically healing, not boosted, so they can go in the same row as Dire Bear. And they play another Drakkar. And again, gets destroyed by Arnaghad. So let's go for Blood Eagle here. Take out one of the 1-power units. And with it, let's get a War Crier. There are certainly damaged enemies out there, so this should get boosted up. And it'll give us some passive boosting, which is useful, given how they have more cards than us here. And then they decoy, getting rid of one of those weak cards and getting Holger Blackhand in instead. That's clever. I'm not sure that's good enough because, well, down goes Holger. Now let's go for the Hunter. And this is not great in a short round because, of course, we need to actively use that order ability for it to deal the damage. But we have built a pretty strong lead here. And again, they're loading up on that armor. But it's not going to matter here, still destroying the card they play. Now we have the Mentor to finish things off here, as well as our leader ability. 11 points. Plus the Sirens on the other side, which normally might not be a great thing, but since we have Dagur, we get boosted in the process. And that means more stuff to boost up the Mentor. And that means we have a humongous lead here, and I don't think there's any way they can come back from this. And even with 3 extra cards here, I don't know if there's any way for them to come back. You go with the Mantlet, and again, trying to load up on that armor, but it's not enough to overcome the damage coming in from Sukrus plus Arnaghad, so it goes down. Then they use their leader ability, and that's one of the few cards they have that can actually survive Arnaghad's damage, but do they have anything else that can do that, though? Okay, Iris Shade does work well with all the armor as well. And when you steal that armor, is it enough to survive the hit? It is. Not that your 2 strength is doing much to change the situation, and so they forfeit. Okay, so go against Nilfgaard here, and we'll go first. Okay, we have way too many low provision cost bronze units here. Let's get rid of one of the War Criers, get the Defender, that's definitely a good pickup. And maybe get rid of the Marauder as well. Fair Witcher Mentor is decent. And although I like the Hunters, we may not need 2 of them. And getting Sihil could be quite helpful. So let's lead off with the Defender. Okay, Turning Joust will deal some damage to him, but shouldn't be enough to destroy it. Although, that sets up the steal. Wow, okay, didn't see that one coming. So very aggressive play with their leader ability there. I was thinking about going Longship next. I suppose we still do that. Okay, now they're going to get boosted by the number of tactics in their hand. I think it's going to be a lot. Yeah, they're up to a 7 even after taking that damage. That does make setting up cards like Sihil rather difficult, when that would have potentially been one of our preferred cards to focus on here in round 1. So I think we go with the Dire Bear here. If they're trying to play a bunch of boosting cards, then that can be a nice way to shut them down. Oh, and then they're going to destroy it. Okay. Admittedly, may have wanted to wait a little bit before playing that card to see if they would have committed any more boosting. Although to get a Greatsword out there is not bad, because that's 10 points right there. I think now let's just get some points on the board. And since they have 2 units that are damaged right now, that'll absolutely have one with the War Crier. Okay, Artorias Vigo does start out relatively low, and certainly the card that he's going to spawn in will be as well. So this could be potential target for Sihil. Although, that 1 power card, of course, gets destroyed by the Longship, so a little bit tougher than that. We're running out of time for Gerd here, so I think we go for that. And that should give us an easy Sihil target after that, now that we have a 1-strength Siren on the opposite side. Okay, and what are they going to get from War Council? Urchin, which has Veil, which means he actually does not get Resilience. So, not a huge fan of that play, although it will give them some boosts. I think now we do go with Sihil. because we have set this up. Let's get rid of Vigo, because he has more long-term value than that Siren. Oh, and Cahir, this is what we would have loved to have had that Dire Bear for, but unfortunately they got rid of it. However, we actually don't have a very boost-centric deck. It's more of a damage-centric deck, so it's not a great card against us, other than our Bear Witcher Mentor. And speaking of damage, let's play the Brokvar Hunter to set up our next Sihil move. Okay, Bribery, what are they going to get from our deck? Is it going to be something that works with their deck? Because I kind of doubt it. Well, I mean, Sukrus is always nice. It means that they're going to put it next to Cahir to make it tough for us to get rid of Cahir. But like I said, actually not too concerned about him. Let's go with Sukrus. And then Sihil has a 2-power target to hit. And we do have the Warcry that's getting boosted every turn, so Cahir is keeping pace with him. Okay, and turning Joust is not a huge deal here. They're actually going to give a shield to Sukrus, but wasn't really planning on trying to get rid of him. So I think now we go Greatsword, and technically he gets healed, so even if we had not played him next to Sukrus, then it still would have been fine, would not have boosted Cahir. And then let's try to set up our next play with Sihil as well. Okay, now they play their defender. That's awfully late, but I suppose they did steal ours, so maybe they didn't feel like they needed him. Okay, and so now we can play the Bear Witcher Mentor. Of course, it would get boosted a fair bit, and in doing so would also boost Cahir. Let's start off with our leader ability, because that's a lot of points that do not involve getting boosted. That gives us more easy Sihil targets. Granted, it's not going to do much to reduce their score, but it will get Sihil a little bit more powerful. And I deliberately discarded the Bear Witcher Mentor because I was concerned about the Cahir boost, but that is actually an overreaction because Cahir will match the boost, but will not match the base strength. That means we would have still, on net, benefited 4 more points than our opponent from playing that card. Okay, and they go with Treason here. Do they have any good targets? They do. And in doing so, they will manage to pull ahead for a round 1 win. And these are not really the cards we're looking for here. Let's get rid of Ale, and nor is the Marauder, nor is the Warcry, really. Not a lot of time for that to get boosted. Though, fortunately, we do have more points than our opponent from all the cards that we played that carried over into round 2. That is definitely one of the advantages of Skellige. All of your base strength does work well in this seasonal event. Hefty Helga would be a problem if this were a full-length round, but this one looks like it'll be quite short. And you did play next to that defender, so although we can only target one of the 2 defenders, it does mean that a Tempest could hit you. The damage is not going to be great, because the defender, of course, only has 1 power, but I'm a little bit concerned about the lack of resilience that we're going to have here, so let's play the Warcrier first. Okay, Marching Orders, what is the lowest unit in their deck? They boosted by the number of tactics in their hand. They have 1 card in their hand right now, and apparently it's not a tactic. It does, however, give them some charges for Hefty Helga. So now let's use Tempest, and this will, of course, purify and therefore remove the resilience on Hefty Helga. And Sihil at this stage can only hit the defender, and the defender has armor, so that's not really doing us any good. Then they have, their Tutor to get a tactic card from their deck, which they are not even going to play. They might not have had one, because here they forfeit. Okay, so going against Northern Realms here. And we'll go first. Okay, so I like Dire Bear against Northern Realms a lot, assuming they're going to be very boost-centric. Then we can use Royal Decree to get a defender to, say, protect Dagur. I think we swap you out, and maybe you as well. And I think we can do better than a Warcrier. Okay, Bloody Wolf, for sure. Start with the Longships. Okay, Redanian Knight will get fairly powerful over time. Then again, we can probably get rid of that armor fairly quickly. So I think we'll go with the other Longship here. And we'll keep an eye on where they put their big boosting units. And that'll determine where we want to put the Dire Bear. Okay, Ronvid will come out with a big boost. I think now we use Royal Decree. Get our defender out here. Okay, Kirak Frigate will spawn in a bunch of units, but in many ways that's just going to make it easier for us to deal a bunch of damage to them. So I think now we go Dagger. Okay, they will spawn in the units, and that will likely be a Gerd target. Iris for Vitality, really? So we can wait a little bit before playing Gerd, and presumably you're going to keep on spawning in more of these volunteers in the melee row, so I think we wait this out. And then for now, why don't we get a War Crier down here in the range row, because you do have a damage unit, and I'm a little bit concerned about the number of units we have in the melee row. Okay, they do in fact spawn in more volunteers. Now they're going Triss Telekinesis. Okay. What special card are they going to play here? Oh, Lacerate. Yeah, I mean, we did load up a fair bit in the melee row. But we did have some armor there, so it's not like you're going to actually put anything at risk. I think what we do now is let's Blood Eagle on that Triss. And then use that to get ourselves a Greatsword out here. And again, let's put this in the range row. Oh, and I waited one turn too long for Gerd, didn't I? Darn. I saw the 2-strength unit that wasn't in the melee row where we wanted to use Gerd, and I got carried away. Well, there are more of those volunteers that we wanted to hit. Okay, so Enna Strenger, if they boost her, we'll boost on either side. Then again, we're going to deal a fair bit of damage to her. They have to use 2 leader charges on it. So tell you what, we might actually try to save Gerd, because I think we got a strong setup here. Let's go with Tempest on these 3. Let's go with Tempest on these 3. Remove all the resilience. Not going to matter too much for Ronvid, because of course he can come back. Let's go for it here. Okay, Nana K can, of course, boost. We'll deal some damage to her. Okay, and they're using that to load up more with Enna Strenger. Get her re-inspired. In that case, I think what we do here is we lead her ability. That'll give us more damage to charge up Dagger further. And then now that we've gotten just about all the boosts out of Dagger that we're expecting to get, let's put down Dire Bear in the melee row, and this will be our way of completely shutting down that Enna Strenger setup that they had. And just in case, I think we'll also boost in the range row one of those guys. And they do pass, and that is what I wanted them to do. So I wanted to save Gerd, given how I did break him a little bit. So we win round 1. We did have to play 1 additional card to do it. We have some strong cards for round 2 as well, carrying over with Resilience. Okay, so we get round 2 Blood Eagle, get another Greatsword, and then a War Crier. There are definitely still some other cards we'd like to have, so let's try swapping you out. Not sure Moondust is going to be one of those, though. Gerd could be. Okay, so I'm going to go with Gerd here, because this is the turn in which we have to play him, if we're going to get all the damage out there. Because Dire Bear is in the same row as Dagger, means that we're not going to be able to boost Dagger, at least for this turn, but next turn I have a plan to change that. Okay, Bedlam, clever. They'll boost in their hand to avoid Dire Bear. However, we can change that. Let's go Blood Eagle on you. And then I want to use this to get a Hunter. And then with the Hunter, what we're going to do is we're actually going to damage ourselves here with Dire Bear to trigger Berserk 7. So that way, Dagger can now still get boosted. Oh, look at this. Gaunter. Planning to destroy something. What are they going for? Really? Greatsword. I don't know about that. It is our strongest unit at the moment, but of course Dagger will get quite big. So I think what we do now is we actually play our second Greatsword to give it a little bit of time to get reboosted. And let's deliberately play you in the melee row, because if we're just looking at the cards that have resilience, before we played him, they were all in the range row. Okay, so they will destroy the Greatsword. Had 1 higher strength than Patricidal, which they actually could have chosen to destroy if they wanted to. But I do like all these damage units shown up here. I would prefer if you did not proceed to boost that unit, but actually Dire Bear prevents that from happening. Either way, there are enough damage units out here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that even though we don't have Sukrus, Arnaghad is going to be pretty darn tanky. So I think we play you maybe here. And with our damage on the Hunter, I suppose we get closer to getting rid of the Drummer. Okay, and this is a clever move. Locking Arnaghad means he won't be able to damage you, so this unit will not get destroyed. But add that to the list of units that are damaged here, which means this would have been a huge final card to play, and they forfeit. So there's a look at a high damage Skellige deck for the new Entrenched seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions you'd like us to experiment with next. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.